How do you feel with the big addition here into having Bregman alongside you?
Yeah, it feels great. It's obviously a huge addition. A guy that's brings a certain amount of intensity, to our clubhouse and some leadership. So, I've known Alex. We've gotten close over the last few years, and it was cool, man, because he was kind of recruiting me to Houston, and now the roles had reversed. So I was recruiting pretty hard to come here, and it's great to see that we got it done, and just excited to kind of get going.
Just like defensively, like how excited are you to play alongside him, and kind of what that'll do for the infield?
Yeah, he was a Gold Glover last year, so anytime you can add a Gold Glove infielder, that's a big thing, and it's kind of been a weakness of ours the last couple of years, and which it bothers me because I haven't been able to be out there and play and to help that out, but a great addition to kind of sure things up, because if we're going to go where we want to go, we need to play good defense.
The assumption is he's going to play second. We'll ask Cora about that later, but if he does, how important is it for you? You played second base for a full season there in 2000, to help him.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know how the infield is going to be aligned, but if that's the case, I played second for that, that first year here, and I think he's kind of a shortstop at heart. He back in his LSU days. I think if you just take that mentality anywhere you're playing on the infield, it'll serve you well. And I think for me, that's the way I did it, and just try to stay as athletic as possible, no matter where you're playing at. I think that's what plays. So he's really good at that. Obviously, he's got the gold to show for it. So
what are some of the things, Trevor? I think you guys used 11 different second basemen last year. You obviously weren't here for a chunk of that, but just to have a regular partner over there and someone that you can be comfortable with. Alex was talking Cora was talking about knowing where the feed's going to be, how you like it, just to work with the same guy. How important is that?
Yeah, it's obviously preferred to have, obviously you want a regular guy at every single position every single day. But I think the game's a little different now. There's a lot of versatility and matchups that come into hand. So, but yeah, whoever's playing second, I think that's going to be a big part of spring training for us. Is we're going to get out there and get the reps in, get comfortable, find our chemistry, and then let it rip. So, time on the field is going to be the biggest thing there, and I think that's going to be a big focus of ours.
From the recruitment process, what was that like, and kind of how aggressively were you? And
yeah, it's interesting, man, because I was on the other side of it, and I know how big of a role it played for me. Because I was hearing from Bogey, I was hearing from Nate, I was hearing from Chris Sale, Kike, all these guys, and you kind of in your mind you start to see, put yourself in that situation, how it would look, how it would feel, and I think like I said, it played a big role for me, and just shooting them a text here and there, just talking ball anytime we can, sharing videos, sharing hitting videos, just kind of re-sparking that relationship to hopefully sometime or someday be teammates, and I think that's it's a fun thing to do, and you're kind of on the edge of your seat seeing what's going to happen. Obviously, there's not too much that you can do about it, but you can talk about it, you can talk about what it would be like, so it was just a lot of that.
You've had a couple seasons of postseason play. You guys plan on being back in the playoffs. How important is it to bring a guy in that has been there so often as an extension of the regular season for him?
Yeah, it is. He brings that expectation with him for sure, and he's had the success. He's won championships. It's a big thing. I think that goes overlooked a lot of times, and so having a guy that can calm the waters a little bit there, because that's where we plan on going, and we plan on playing to the very end. So having a guy that's done that is a huge asset for us.
You made the switch over to second. What was the biggest adjustment?
Yeah, for me it was just the angle. I've always mostly played on the left side of the field, and just the angle off the bat is obviously a little different as you flip over on the other side of second base. So just the angles are a little different, but I feel like it didn't take long to adjust, and turning double plays, everything was going left after breaking to the bag right. So that was it. It's just little details, really.
Trevor, from an offensive standpoint, you had a good answer last year. What are some of the things that you're trying to carry over, adjust, et cetera?
Yeah, I think, like I've said, it was big for me to come back and play there at the end of the season. Got to pass a lot of mental hurdles with the injury. And it was important to me because I could, a little bit prove it to myself, man, I'm good to go, have a healthy offseason. Let's ride this momentum. And I think I did. I played well, and my shoulder's in a much, much better spot than it was at the end of the season. So that gives me a lot of confidence. And, yeah, offensively, I felt like I could handle the best of pitching. So, you add even more health to that, and a great offseason of some of the same things we were focused on there at the end, and I feel really good about it.
How do you feel about the team in general? Obviously, the pitching was like a big part earlier, before the Bregman stuff. How do you feel about just where you guys are at and what the team did over the offseason?
Yeah, it's exciting. I felt like with every free agent, even the trades, it felt like the Sox were in on everybody, and like that's how it's been, normally. And I think maybe not so much the past couple of years, but that's why it's exciting, because it feels like, all right, man, we're in this thing. We're really making some moves to improve our roster, because you see what it takes to win a World Series, and it takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of depth. I think we added a lot of that. So yeah, adding Walker at Crochet, Sandoval, all these guys, man, Chapman, Wilson. It's fun to have those guys that are experienced too. And they bring a certain expectation with them, and those guys are nasty.
What was part of your recruiting pitch to Alex? And he obviously knows the manager here. He knows some guys, but what were you selling him on this experience?
Really, there's and he knows he's played in Fenway. He's been through. He's had his fair share of games there, and there's just nothing like the atmosphere. There's nothing like playing in Boston, and there's nothing like winning in Boston. I think to me, it just feels like it means more, and I think that was a big thing that drew me to Boston. And I think obviously the monster in left, he's a pull side in the air guy. That plays well for his swing, and also just winning. It was hard to, say that after the last few years, but he could see what we have brewing here and the moves we've made, the young players we have, the young core. I think it's, he could definitely see how we can win, and that's what he's all about. And so that was a big part of it too.
Was that process at all awkward for you, because you also had an interest in maybe Nolan coming over here in a trade? Obviously, you and he didn't control that part of it. The trade had to be worked out. But did you feel yourself kind of caught in the middle, thinking like, well, either of these guys would be great, but I've been teammates with one and know another? Like, how did you process that in your head?
Yeah, it was like you said. There's nothing I could do to control it. You can talk about things, whatever, but it's not my job to make those decisions. So yeah, either way, I think we'd have been in a good position. Two good players, so yeah, just pumped that we added the righty bat and a good defender. So yeah, it's good.
You mentioned that young team that you kind of have here, right? Talented. How important is a guy like Bregman sitting around the cage, talking hitting, talking approach, talking about pitchers? How important can that be? I know you're part of it. Just some injuries haven't allowed you to be around there.
Sure. Yeah, it's he's special in that aspect, man. He's very in tune with the game, has a lot of experience, has done it in the biggest moments. So anytime you can pick a guy's brain like that, especially as a young kid, that's a big thing. Baseball rat, man, loves being in the cage, loves talking, hitting, approach, finding little details to help the team. So in this, in today's game, those are the things I think that can put you over the edge. a guy with that type of leadership and that type of voice can really change the dynamic of an offense, I think.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, for sure.